I saw this a while ago. It was really interesting. Is it out yet?
Yes, it's actually in full production. Yes. What happened is in 2011, with SHOT Show, we tend to release like prototype stuff. A lot of that happened with like the RFB rifle, the PMR-30. We come out, we want to see what the demand's going to be. The shotgun was in prototype production in 2011. In 2012, our idea was this was going to be a full production. And we kept saying, everyone kept saying, when's it going to come out? When's it going to come out? So I'm one of the design engineers, and I work with Toby, the chief design engineer, and George, the president. We've pretty much worked from prototype in January for SHOT Show, and by middle of December, 11.5 months, it went from prototype to production 11.5 months. We did training manuals, we trained the employees, we actually finalized all the parts, and we actually finalized function testing actually on the weapon. So it's not like making 6,000 of them, sending them out the door, and praying they don't come back. We actually front-loaded with a lot of training. We actually brought in the customer service in, which is a lot different from our past training. We actually brought in some of the machinists as well as the assemblers and said, this is what this part does, this is what you'll be doing, this is how it's made. So they have a better understanding, as well as better knowledge base, if you will. So it is actually in full production. We're able to do about 400 to 500 a week running at 100%. The only issue is we have like 12,000 on back order.
I know, like there's a lot of people that order.
And that's just people that have actually physically been able to get it on back order. That's not just people that are like, I can't, where can I go to go get one? So, so if you think, kind of do the rough math, you're looking at the first 10,000 maybe in like 6 months. And obviously, we also have other models coming out we kind of toyed with. It's called the KSG Patrol. It's essentially, it's an NFA weapon. It's about 60 millimeters shorter. It's 24 inches overall. A little more balanced. The idea is mainly geared towards law enforcement. Get it in and out of your patrol car really quick. It's also balanced very well. Our super short, also called the KSG Tactical. We're leaning more towards breaching and entry with a Carlson Comp breacher on the front. Obviously, with the smaller weapons, this one can hold 2 3/4, 15 rounds total. 2 3/4 on the patrol model's 13, and this one's 11. It's mainly obviously the stack is shorter. The weight goes down and some other stuff. But this one is in full production. And that's the issue is that there's all these back orders that happened from last year, and there's obviously going to be a little bit of a greed initially. People were probably selling on Gunbroke or some other stuff, so it's definitely out there.
We saw Turner's pre-orders for these things. Do you think they're out?
Yeah, the pre-order, it's the pre-orders, we have 35 to 40, I want to say, distributors. Plus, we also can sell directly to law enforcement. The issue is, even with those distributors right now, people are trying to be added to our list. We still have anywhere between 60 to 80,000 weapons on back order. At one point, about half a decade ago, we had almost like 100,000, if not 120. But we've been able to meet more of the production demand. That's something that I hit on last year with the president and with the chief design engineer Toby, of like doing a production timeline, because we're going to actually improve our efficiency with this. We've been able to slowly move into that. So it's come this year, you'll actually see, by summertime, that first 10,000 will be made, and pretty much every time someone will get one, a neighbor or a friend will want to get one. So pretty much 26.1 inches overall, just under 7 pounds shipping. It's 6.9. It will come standard pretty much just like this. Picatinny on top, Picatinny on the bottom. Dual magazine tubes, pretty much safety, fire. It actually loads and ejects out of the rear. Action bar release, pretty much you have a selector right down in here made out of bent stainless steel. Actually knocks, as the bolt moves to the rear, we can pop the actual action. Has the actual shell, spent shell, the lifters actually knock it down. When it actually bottoms out, goes all the way down to the very bottom. The next shell actually lands on top. So pretty much, yeah, the selector right here is a little bit complex with both tubes.
Right.
But pretty much you'll load all the rounds in on one side. When it gets full, you pretty much move it over. So every time you cycle the weapon, it stays on the same tube. So one idea for law enforcement or for military or for home defense, if you have buck and slug, pretty much be able to distinguish based on your own training or your agency's training. Pretty much if you're cycling the weapon through, you come up, and next thing you know, you want to go out the door, you see a longer thread that needs a slug. You move it over to the slug switch. Now you actually have slug in here. That's pretty much all you have to do. But disassembly is pretty easy. It's just 2 frame pins held on with springs. Pretty much knock them out. The grip is fully assembled, comes out. If you ever have a problem with the grip, we obviously just send you a new one. Rear stock pops out with a lifter. Pretty much you can field strip with 2 quarters. Pretty much turn these, quarter turns each one. The receiver assembly is this guy down here. It'll come out, everything's all secured in it. The barrel assembly can come off as well. As for accessories, what we have coming out is we have an angled grip, kind of like the Magpul one, it's just not the finger one. This one mainly was kind of designed for the patrol model, but can go on any of them. We do have a choke tube that'll come off from the threads. Put a choke tube on there because we don't have internal threads as of now. We do have some companies looking at actual snap cheek rests because I mean
for testing,
for adjustability. Also from we didn't think about this because we're in Florida, Alaska, and Chicago. When they were testing, they were like, my cheek keeps sticking to them, so we kind of come up with the idea of doing something on there for them. We do have a single point sling, not on these, but a prototype would be quick release, so you can still actually technically disassemble in a field. Mesa Tactical is making hard side saddles. We also have a prototype for the side saddle design, as well as pretty much bead side risers, because it's work on like the AR-15 style sights. You need about that 1.5 inches. It's not like a standard shotgun where the stock's down about 1.5 inches. Pretty much you need something that's up a little bit more, depending on the shooter, essentially. Yeah, play away. Yeah, play away. The NFA one. It's going to be the Class 3 as well as that guy there. It is California legal. Yeah. See, everyone's in California.
I was about to ask him, like, is the next question?
That's probably the most important question.
Yeah.
I live in California. Can I buy it? Yes, you can.
Guys looking for the muzzle device too. I make the muzzle device.
Don't worry, it happened just a couple minutes ago.
Speaking about California, I think we actually sent some for I think some of the movies, one of the KSGs in them, and like our 24-inch RFPs. We don't know the movie titles, but apparently we've sent some out for like movie directors, stuff like that. Yeah, last year was just a lot of work on actually testing it and controlling the variables here.
Right.
So we can actually say, this is how we built it. We sent it out, and people were like, hey, it's doing this, this, and this. Well, great. We had 10 people say that. I mean, that's great that they're having the same issues. Now we can control the variables, bring it back in, and fix them. And then we sent them back out, and they're like, well, you solved these. When's the cheek rest coming out? When's this coming out? So it's good to do all that prototype to production in like a year, in 11.5 months. So it was a little bit of work, but it's you'll start seeing them more on the shelves. It's just back orders.
Well, we're excited. Thank you so much.
No, not a problem, guys.